The euthanasia decision, courage, not failure. Sarah called me at 2 a.m. sobbing into the phone. I killed my dog, she whispered. I looked into Buddy's eyes and I chose death. How is that love? How do I live with that? Sarah had just made one of the hardest decisions any pet parent will ever face. And like 22% of pet owners who choose euthanasia, she was drowning in guilt. Even though 3 veterinarians had told her it was the kindest choice. If you're here today, you might be carrying that same crushing weight. Maybe you're replaying that moment over and over. Maybe you're wondering if you gave up too soon or waited too long. Today, I want to change how you see that decision forever, because what you did wasn't failure. It was courage, transition, and overview. Our journey today. In this lesson, we're going to walk through exactly why the euthanasia decision is an act of love, not abandonment. We'll explore the research that shows why guilt is so common, and I'll give you a powerful framework to reframe this choice completely. Our destination. By the end of today, you'll understand why looking into your pet's eyes and making that impossible choice was actually your finest moment as their guardian. The guilt is normal and misguided. Let me start with something that might surprise you. Research shows that 22% of pet owners experience significant guilt after euthanasia, even when the decision was medically justified, even when vets recommended it, even when their pet was clearly suffering. Why does this happen? Because we're wired to protect. Our brains are designed to see ending life as failure, not compassion. When you made that decision, every protective instinct in your body was screaming, save them. Your heart doesn't understand medical necessity. It only understands love. But here's what your heart needs to know. There's a difference between giving up and letting go. Giving up is when you stop trying because it's easier for you. Letting go is when you stop trying because it's kinder for them. Think about your pet in their final days or weeks. Were they eating, playing, wagging their tail, looking forward to walks? Could they move without pain? If the answer is no, if they were hiding, refusing food, struggling to breathe, or just not themselves anymore, then you didn't give up. You witnessed their suffering and chose to end it. That's not failure, that's heartbreaking, sacrificial love, the playing God myth. I know some of you are thinking, but who am I to decide when it's time? Aren't I playing God? Let me ask you this. When you gave them food every day, weren't you intervening in nature? When you took them to the vet for vaccines, weren't you extending their natural lifespan? When you brought them inside from the cold, weren't you changing their natural experience? From the moment they became your pet, you became responsible for their well-being. You became their advocate. You became the voice for a creature who couldn't speak for themselves. Playing God. Playing God would be keeping them alive for your own needs when they're ready to go. Playing God would be ignoring their suffering because you can't bear to say goodbye. Playing guardian. What you did was play guardian. You looked past your own breaking heart and asked, what do they need right now? And when the answer was peace, you gave it to them. In many spiritual traditions, there's a concept called compassionate release. It's the idea that sometimes the deepest love requires letting go. Sometimes the bravest thing isn't holding on. It's opening your hands. That's exactly what you did. The love-based decision framework. Now, I want to give you a powerful tool to reframe this decision completely. I call it the love-based decision framework, and it has 3 simple questions. Was I acting from love or fear? Fear says, I can't live without them. Love says, I can't watch them suffer. Fear says, maybe tomorrow will be better. Love says, they're telling me they're tired. When you made that decision, were you thinking about yourself or about them? I'm guessing it was about them. That's love in action. Did I seek wisdom and guidance? You didn't make this decision alone, did you? You talked to veterinarians, maybe friends who'd been through this. Maybe you did research. Maybe you prayed about it. You gathered information. You sought counsel. You weighed options. That's not the behavior of someone who's giving up. That's the behavior of someone who's being responsible. Was I honoring their dignity? This is the big one. Were they still able to be themselves? Could they do the things that made them, them? Dogs want to greet you at the door, play, eat treats, and feel joy. Cats want to hunt, explore, and feel in control of their bodies. Horses want to run and be strong. When illness or age takes away their ability to be who they are, when every day becomes about managing pain instead of experiencing joy, continuing to keep keep them alive isn't preserving their dignity. It's stealing it. By choosing euthanasia, you preserved their dignity. You said, I remember who you were, and I won't let this disease erase that. The final moment was sacred. Let's talk about those final moments, because I know many of you are haunted by them. Maybe you stayed and held them. Maybe you couldn't bear to watch. Maybe they struggled a little or sighed or looked at you one last time. Whatever happened in those moments, it was sacred. You were present for their transition from life to peace. You were their bridge from suffering to release. In many cultures, being present for someone's death is considered a holy privilege. And here's something beautiful. Research shows that pets who are euthanized in the presence of their owners show fewer signs of stress. Your presence comforted them. Even if you were crying, even if your hands were shaking, your love surrounded them. They didn't die alone. They didn't die confused. They died knowing they were cherished. If you stayed, you gave them courage. If you couldn't stay, you still gave them the gift of peace. Either way, love was present in that room. Reframing the narrative. Right now, your mind might be telling you a story that sounds like this. I killed my pet. I gave up. I chose death. I failed them when they needed me most. I want you to hear a different story, the true story. I loved my pets so much that I was willing to break my own heart to spare theirs. I gathered wisdom from experts. I prayed or meditated or sought guidance. I looked past my own need to keep them with me and asked what they needed. When the answer was peace, I gave them peace. In their final moments, they were surrounded by love. I didn't fail them. I freed them. That's the story of courage. That's the story of sacrificial love. That's the story of a guardian who put their pets' needs above their own comfort. And that's your story. Guided meditation preview. In just a moment, I'm going to guide you through a short meditation where we'll practice holding both truths. This decision broke your heart, and it was the right choice. We'll practice speaking to yourself with the same compassion you'd offer a friend. We'll practice replacing guilt with gratitude. Gratitude that you were brave enough to make an impossible choice. But first, let me leave you with this thought. Your pet lived their entire life trusting your decisions. They trusted you to feed them, shelter them, love them, and keep them safe. In their final moment, they trusted you one more time. And you didn't break that trust. You honored it. Summary and transition. Let's recap what we covered today. Normal guilt. The guilt you feel is normal. 22% of pet owners experience it, but it's based on a misunderstanding of what love looks like in impossible situations. Guardian role. You weren't playing God. You were playing guardian. You were being the voice for a creature who couldn't speak for themselves. Love-based framework. Using the love-based decision framework, you can see that your choice came from love, wisdom, and respect for their dignity. Sacred moments. Those final moments were sacred, not tragic. You gave them peace, surrounded by love. True story. And the true story isn't that you killed your pet. It's that you loved them enough to let them go. Action step and closing. Your action step for today is simple but powerful. I want you to write one sentence, just one, that reframes your decision as an act of love. It might be, I loved Max enough to end his suffering. Or, I gave Bella the gift of peace when pain was all she knew. Write it down. Say it out loud. Let your heart begin to believe what your mind already knows. You didn't fail them. You freed them. And tomorrow, in Lesson 2.2, we're going to tackle those what-if thoughts that keep playing on repeat in your mind. We're going to learn how to gently redirect that mental energy toward healing instead of self-torture. For now, be gentle with yourself. You made an impossible choice with a heart full of love, and that's exactly what a good guardian does.